Welcome back. We're looking at happenings in Egypt now. Following the sentencing of former Egyptian President Mohamed Mursi to 20 years in prison, Turkey is very concerned by the sentencing of the ousted Egyptian president. Turkey is of the opinion that the judicial ruling concerning the former president increases the concerns regarding the future of democracy in Egypt. A day before the former president was sentenced, 20 Brotherhood members were sentenced to death. However, legal representatives for both parties have said they will appeal. We'll be bringing you more concerning the trial of the Al Jazeera journalist, but joining us via telephone now is the Voice of America's Heather Murdoch. Heather, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Kindly fill us in on what happened today. It's the day we've been waiting for, the retrial of the Al Jazeera journalist, and unfortunately we'll have to wait a bit more, I believe.
Yes, there was a hearing today in court, and they are scheduled to go back to court again next week on the 28th of April. Here in Egypt that appeared on behalf of Mohamed Fahmy, the Canadian Egyptian. And he testified that Mohamed Fahmy is in fact not a Muslim Brotherhood member or supporter, but a professional journalist. They also talked about a new committee that is re-examining the evidence, the video evidence that they said the first time, and next week we should know the results of that investigation.
Now, we might know that next week, because we don't know if they're going to postpone it again for other reasons. But what could the future of the Muslim Brotherhood be with what we're seeing happening?
Well, the Muslim Brotherhood has been cracked down upon very hardly in the past few months. And thousands of them are in jail, hundreds are awaiting death sentences, and many hundreds have been killed on the streets and fighting. But some analysts would say that doesn't mean the end of the Muslim Brotherhood. Its organization will certainly change. It's banned now. It's being called a terrorist organization. But this organization has been around for 80 years, and it survives other bans and crackdowns equally as harsh. Not in a long time. The Mubarak regime was more lenient on the Muslim Brotherhood than some of his predecessors. But they did manage to grow and prosper under the bans previously.
Well, I guess time will tell if the Muslim Brotherhood can survive this. But Heather, thank you very much for joining us on the program. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Heather Murdoch has been speaking to us from Cairo with the Voice of America. Now, more on what she told us about the Al Jazeera journalist. Sadly, the frustration continues for Baher Mohammed and Mohamed Fahmy. The retrial video, as Heather said, on terrorism-related charges has been adjourned until April 28th. The judge has ordered the prosecution to submit the deportation papers of the Australian journalist Peter Grester, as well as submit proof from the State Information Service and the press syndicate whether the accused journalists were licensed to work in Egypt. Today was the fifth hearing in both journalists' retrial since the case was brought back to court after Egypt's High Court abolished in January a ruling that had sentenced the journalist to between 7 and 10 years in jail. Judge Hassan Farid received today video evidence from a technical committee newly assigned to view the seized footage after an old committee previously failed to answer court's questions on its initial report that accused journalists of harming state security. The new committee's report will be discussed during the next hearing, which is April the 28th. Now, as we just told you, the retrial of these journalists has been shifted 5 times. I want to give you a breakdown now concerning the trial history of Mohamed Fahmy and Baher Mohammed. As for Mohamed Fahmy, he was arrested on December the 29th, 2013, found guilty of aiding Muslim Brotherhood on June the 23rd, 2014. He spent 411 days behind bars. The retrial announced on January the 1st, 2015. Now, he also renounced his Egyptian citizenship on February the 3rd, 2015. He was released on bail on February the 12th, 2015, at the cost of £250,000 each. The first hearing was February 23rd, 2015, and the hearing was fixed for March the 8th, 2015. The hearing was then fixed again for March the 19th, 2015, and then rescheduled for March the 27th, 2015, then April the 22nd, which was today, and also April the 28th, 2015. We'll take a break now, Network Africa. When we come back, we'll be speaking to some lawyers and also some activists, members of the Committee for Protection of Journalists. Please stay with us.